Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Yeah, this morning I want to share my comments to present a video interview of my husband on the El Sharpton show, which shows the depth of what the congresspersons and their staff went through and the terror that I felt while watching the live news footage of the riot going on in DC and not knowing if my husband was safe or not. It is about 8 minutes, but I feel that DeKalb should see and know and feel and get a firsthand understanding as what they went through and I went through in these United States of America in 2020.
And member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, before I go to the Judiciary Committee and the president's incitement of a riot on Wednesday, it overshadowed the incredible wins in your home state of Georgia on Tuesday. What does it say about Georgia that it will send its first black senator and first Jewish senator to Washington? When I think of in the South, blacks and Jews marched together and died together for the right to vote. It comes to mind easily Goodman, Cheney, and Swerner among the martyrs that did that, blacks and Jews together. And now we see a black and a Jew going to Washington from Georgia. What does it say about your home state?
Yeah, it says that the nation has made a lot of progress. It shows that Georgia and the South have made progress. But the announced victories coming on Wednesday, the 6th, the same day we had a attempted coup in this country, shows us just how far we have to go in this country to achieve the kind of values and vision that the framers of the Constitution envisioned for the country. We can't forget that this country was born in racism. Racism is in the soil of this country, and what sprouted out on Wednesday, on one hand, you had this the results of the Tuesday election, where we've got 2 new United States senators who have enabled Democrats to control the Senate so that we can start enacting some of the agenda of the Biden-Harris administration, and that's going to be great for the nation. But ominously, there still in the soil of this nation arises the fruit of racism. It displayed itself in the policing that went on at the Capitol. I have no problem with the rank and file police officers who were undermanned. They didn't have the proper equipment. Somebody had put them in an untenable situation. And so they reacted in the only way that they could, but they were met by an overwhelming mob that was sent there. And they were set up the same way that we in Congress were set up. We didn't know until the last minute that we were in danger.
Wow.
It was too late for us to take any action to protect ourselves. And for a while, we were at the mercy of this mob that came with zip ties and hangman's nooses, and it had set up a gallows on the Capitol grounds, Reverend Al.
They set up gallows. Let me push you on that. They set up gallows on the Capitol ground, had nooses, had Confederate flags in the Capitol building.
This is nothing but a race war that was about to be unleashed. And had it not been for the gunshot of the one shot fired by that plainclothes officer in the Speaker's lobby, right behind the House gallery, right there, if those people had been able to get through, they would have had us who were in the gallery up on the 3rd floor trapped.
Wow.
We would not have been able to get out. And Reverend Al, when they finally got us out of there, we walked past spread-eagled rioters on the floor at gunpoint by the Capitol Hill police officers. As we went down the steps, they had us surrounded up there on the 3rd floor, and if that police officer had not fired and stopped the onslaught on the speakers in the speakers lobby, they would have cut off our escape route. They would have had us upstairs, and I have no doubt that some of us who look like me would have been hanging from the railings of the 3rd floor onto the House floor, swinging like fruit, strange fruit. We would have been swinging from those railings, and I tell you,
how many
that's
members
how
of
close it
Congress?
came.
How many members of Congress were there pinned in that 3rd floor that only that gunshot by the plainclothesman stopped that mob from coming through that door and getting to you? How many members of Congress were with you?
I would say somewhere between 30 and 40. They could have had their pick of who they wanted to make an example of. And they came to the Capitol to do business. And the business that they were about was to lynch some people. They talk about Mike Pence, they talk about Nancy Pelosi, but you and I know, Reverend Al, that one of us would have been hanging with them. And it's really
clearly you don't bring a noose and weapons if you didn't mean business. Let me ask you something. Do you think those GOP members who supported the rioters should be expelled from Congress?
I do, Reverend Al. Representative Mo Brooks from Alabama, the old South, old Alabama, George Wallace, Alabama, was up there on the at the White House on January 6th, edging and egging these demonstrators towards the Capitol Hill that he does his work in. And he was there when they got there. And it's no telling, Reverend Al, what kind of collusion and communication were going on between the leadership of the mob, the Trump administration, and the defense apparatus that they control, and the intelligence apparatus that they control, and the Capitol Hill Police Department at the highest levels, the Sergeant at Arms at the highest level. They saw all of these people advancing to the Capitol. They saw them crash through the barriers, the perimeter. They let them get to the Capitol grounds, the marble of the Capitol. They got them, they saw them walk up the stairs. They allowed them to come inside the door, and nobody warned us. We're in the House chamber doing the business of Congress like sitting ducks. It reminds me of that situation in Alabama that John Lewis used to talk about, where one night after the NAACP and the others had been meeting, the SCLC meeting to plan something, it was nighttime, and the police cut the lights off and let the vigilantes come in, and they themselves took part in it as well. And as a result, that young man, I think his name was Jimmy Lee Jackson, or
Jimmy Lee
I don't
Jackson.
recall.
That's what led
Jimmy
to the
Lee
Selma
Jackson.
March. That's right.
He was killed trying to defend his mother and father. And so that's the situation that occurred on Wednesday, January 6th, in the Congress of the United States of America. It was born of racism. That whole Donald Trump, make America great again, that's racism. Make America, put America back to where it used to be, and put these people in their place, and keep and maintain our lawful place and rightful place. That's what that riot was all about.
I'm going to have to leave it there, but you've certainly enlightened our viewers and brought us in that room where you and other members of Congress were basically at the mercy of a mob. Had there not been one shot fired, it might have ended up even more tragic, and 5 people did lose their lives. Georgia Congressman Hank Johnson, thank you for being here. Coming up.
And thank you for indulging me, and I will give the rest of my comments at the next meeting. Thank you.